The Khilafat movement and the Salt March. The Caliphate movement was an act to pressure the British government into keeping the authority of the Ottoman Sultan as the head or caliph of Islam. What was necessary for this was the Muslim Indian desire and want to have influence of the treaty making after the First World War to try and get back the boundaries for the Ottoman Empire. They didn't like the British having complete control of their political aspect of society. The people that thought most high of this problem, the leaders of this movement, created the first political alliance among Western educated Indian Muslim officials of the Islamic faith. The post-threat to the freedom of the religion of the Muslims was under the control of the British. They were imprisoned and soon released in 1919. They saw this as an opportunity to achieve Indian political stability. This movement had benefited from the Hindu-Muslim cooperation in the nationalist cause. It caused an uprising with all of the Indians of the land to protest the British government and their authority. For this, there in turn came to be nonviolent protests led by Gandhi, an activist in the National Congress, which gained more support from even more people. Most importantly, even though these acts did not change things permanently, it showed the capability of the diverse groups in India to come together to realize the British rule was corrupt. Turkey was able to gain a more diplomatic position and move towards secularism for their own benefit instead of for the benefit of all the other groups in India. They also got rid of the roles of the Sultan and the Caliph.
This led to the Salt March. The Salt March was an act of civil disobedience by Mahatma Gandhi, a civil rights leader in India who helped India gain its independence. It took place from March 12, 1930 to April 5, 1930, as a direct action campaign of tax resistance. The Indians were committing a non-violent protest against the British salt monopoly. The British officials began taxing for salt. The Salt Act prohibited Indians from collecting or selling salt, a staple for the Indian people. On March 12, after his religious retreats, Gandhi started the Salt March. He began in Ahmedabad with a group of people, and eventually that group became tens of thousands. The march was approximately 240 miles and ended near the Arabian Sea coast. Nearly 60,000 people were arrested because of the march, including Gandhi. When they reached the Arabian Sea, Gandhi spoke and led prayers. The Indians were prohibited to have salt that did not come from the British, and were not allowed to produce salt from the seawater in the coastal village of Dandi. When Gandhi arrived at the Arabian Sea coast, early the next morning he walked down to the sea to make salt. On January 1931, Gandhi was released from prison. He then met with Lord Irwin, the Viceroy of India, and agreed to call off the Satyagra in exchange for an equal negotiating role at a London conference on India's future. India's independence was finally granted in August 1947.